Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the engineering discipline interview series. Uh, I have with me Cate Gent. I could tell you all about her, but why don't you tell me about yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Cate Gent. I am a senior biosystems engineering major. I came to Clemson from St. Paul, Minnesota, and now my family lives in Massachusetts. So Clemson's always been kind of a home away from home for me.
Okay, so I guess let's start from the beginning of college. We all took the same sort of freshman general engineering year, right? Can you tell me about, what you liked about that year, classes you liked, etc.?
Yeah, so my freshman year, I came in as a biology major. And so I was taking pretty general classes. And at the time, I thought, oh, I wanted to minor in Spanish. So I was taking some Spanish classes. But halfway through my freshman year, kind of decided that biology wasn't really for me and that I wanted to kind of do some more application stuff. And so I was searching for majors that were kind of related to biology and sustainability. And I stumbled across biosystems engineering. And some of my favorite classes that I took that year were English. English, I think it was I forget the number, but it was
10:30.
rhetoric. Yes, English 1030, it was rhetoric, and that really taught me in a very interesting way of thinking, and I really liked the whole analyzing part of it. I also loved my physics classes. It took me a little bit longer to get the hang of it, but once I did, I ended up really liking physics.
Okay, so you not only switched or chose a major within engineering, but you switched all the way from biology into engineering. Did you switch into general first, or did you go straight into biosystems?
Yeah, so I switched into general first. And so yeah, at the time, I started second semester freshman year in general engineering. Um, but I kind of always had my sights on BE. I didn't really question that it wasn't the right major for me. So I know I didn't really have the experience of, oh, I'm finishing general engineering and I have no idea what type of engineering I want to go into. I kind of chose BE and how to do the general engineering program.
Okay, well, what drove you towards BE then? I mean, if you knew so well, I mean, I know I came in thinking I was going to do bioengineering, and just conversations with people, talking to industrial engineers, which I am now, among other majors, made me want to do industrial. Was there any, sort of driving force towards biosystems?
Yeah. So I've always been really passionate about the environment and been really aware of climate change and its effects on humans and the whole world. And I found that biosystems engineering really kind of allowed you to apply like fundamental biology and core engineering to create solutions that can help save the world in terms of renewable energy and sustainable agriculture and practices that protect the environment and ecosystems while allowing humans to cohabitate as well.
Okay, okay. I guess that's sort of an answer for this following question, but I was hoping you could elaborate on it a little bit more. I mean, so freshman year, I don't feel like they tell us a whole lot about like I couldn't before I did these interviews, I wouldn't really have been able to tell you what an environmental engineer does, or really even a mechanical engineer. Can you tell me more about what biosystems engineering really is?
Yeah.
So,
So biosystems is about utilizing these really like fundamental biological like relationships and reactions. For example, like fermentation. It's a pretty like anaerobic digestion. It's a really basic biological process that you'll learn many times over in biology 1 and 2 and biochemistry and biological kinetics. And they really, you learn about this reaction over and over, but you also learn about its importance in ethanol production and how to model how the um, algae or yeast do this reaction to make it the most ideal for creating ethanol or bioproducts that can be used in pharmaceuticals or treating wastewater and waste management plants, all sorts of things. So we really use these core biological relationships and reactions and use them to create solutions all across the board. Biosystems engineering can tap into any sort of field that you can think of. Waste management, government, biopharmaceuticals, healthcare, um, and wastewater and ecosystem management. So it's very broad, but also you leave with a very unique set of skills.
Okay, interesting. I talked to my friend Miles not too long ago. He's an environmental engineering major. I don't know if
Yes.
you know too much about environmental engineering, but it sounds like y'all are somewhat adjacent. Do you know enough to sort of differentiate the two?
So I do, from my impression of environmental engineering, it is almost kind of about not so much as like creating the solutions, but almost kind of putting on a band-aid, you know? Um,
Gotcha.
so it's very important, and I'm not trying to make it sound like lesser. It's not at all. It's a wonderful um major, but it's a lot of like pollution management and waste management and controlling pollution and remediation. So kind of almost like not solving the problems, but solving um like the byproducts of the problems.
Right,
Kind of,
treating the symptoms, not the illness.
yes, cleaning up the mess a little bit. Um, so I think it's still very important major. And our skills do very much overlap, but I chose biosystems over environmental because I felt that it was a little bit more treating the symptoms.
Well, okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, do you have any, I guess what I'm asking is within biosystems, are there multiple ways to go? Can you branch off into sort of different specializations or
Yes.
emphases or anything like that? Or can you tell me about those?
Yes. So biosystems has two emphases,
Yeah.
two emphases, and they are bioprocesses and ecological. So bioprocesses, you take two different classes, which are biochemistry and biochemical engineering. And so that's my emphasis. And so it kind of focuses a little bit more on like pharmaceuticals, biochemistry, um, like ethanol production, and like biological processes. So what I was saying about these really core reactions that we focus on. And ecological is more focusing on like ecology and ecological restoration and remediation. So a lot of my peers that are in there are focusing on like soil, water, and hydrology, wastewater management, and like soil management. Really, it's ecological is a lot about the health of ecosystems and the strength of ecosystems, where bioprocess is a little bit more about really fundamental like biological reactions.
Okay. I guess my next question would just sort of be about, and you don't have to know this if you don't know, that's okay. But just sort of about jobs in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, but I would imagine just because I have only started hearing the name sort of once I got into college, but I would imagine that biosystems is a relatively new type of engineering. Can you speak to that in its growth, job opportunities, where you might end up, etc.?
Yeah. So, I would say that there are a variety of colleges throughout the country that do have biosystems or biological systems engineering. And it isn't, I don't think it's very new at Clemson, but it's definitely one of the smaller majors. I feel like if people want to do what we do, they would think I need to do environmental engineering.
Right.
And so there aren't a ton of jobs that are, job postings when I'm looking for jobs or applying for internships. It's really hard to just type in biosystems engineering intern because that's very rarely not something that people know a lot about or that people are looking for. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt in terms of that biosystems isn't a very well-known major at Clemson or in the country, but you can apply to all sorts of jobs because biosystems gives you all these fundamental and core engineering skills with a biological context that can be very transferable in a wide range of fields. So that includes like I applied to some like geospatial internships, some civil engineering internships, some environmental engineering internships, like biomedical research. You need to, and then you can get in these interviews and kind of tell them what you do, tell them what you can do, tell them what biosystems engineering is, and how you can be fit for this role, because most likely we are.
Yeah. I also say, even if I understand like maybe biosystems intern is not a job title, but if anyone is looking for specifically a biosystems engineer, since
Mhm.
it's such a small major here, you've got a little less competition than maybe a mechanical engineer. I don't know how many mechanical engineers are here, but there's a ton, and you're competing with maybe 100 of them for that spot you're applying for on Indeed. So I would, plus there are positives and negatives to everything.
Yes, I agree. And I've had some talks with some of the younger biosystems engineering majors, like sophomores and juniors, and they're saying I'm just so I love BE. I just don't know if there's going to be jobs for me, and I'm just trying to tell them that there will be jobs for you. We just had a young professional career panel with the Biosystems Engineering Club, and there were people from that were working for Beaufort County, doing like public work for their for their water flow and their watershed. There are people in biopharmaceuticals working in reactors in California and LA, and there were also people just working for general engineering contracting firms like CDM Smith. And so there are plenty of places where a BE can go. It just might not be labeled, we need a
Right.
biosystems engineer.
Right. Um, so then what about you? Have you had any sort of internship, co-op experiences? Are you looking for anything right now?
Yeah, so I did a lot of applying and interviewing, writing cover letters, pretty much all of my junior year. And so I got an internship working with Ecolab, more specifically the company they acquired, which was Nalco Water. And Nalco Water is a chemical treatment company that focuses on creating water treatment plants to protect assets. So, like boilers and cooling towers, and also save the amount of water they will use and save the amount of energy they will use. So it's very focused on sustainability, very focused on keeping food products safe, and people safe and healthy. And I loved it. It was a lot of field work. I was always in, dog food processing plants and butter plants and really seeing how our food is made. And I loved it. And so I accepted a job in Boston full time next year doing the same type of work.
Well,
And
congratulations.
thank you. Yes. It's very exciting because it is labeled as a technical sales role. So it's kind of a perfect blend of engineering and business. And as of right now, I don't have a desire to get an engineering master's. I want to get my MBA. So I figured this is kind of a good way to figure out if I like business or sales or anything like that before I
Right.
decide to go get an MBA.
Well, that's awesome. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
My next question was to ask you what was next for you. But you answered it pretty well. So I guess my final question to you would be, do you feel like you chose the right major? You got any regrets choosing or anything like that?
I think I chose the right major. I do think I'm a little bit unique as to where I transferred into general engineering, kind of knowing the major that I wanted to be. I just kind of had to go through the process of doing the general engineering. I don't have any regrets. I think it was gave me a lot of skills, and I just try to emphasize to anyone who wants to do BE that yeah, it's not an entirely well-known major, there's not people just looking. It's not like civil where they can just say civil engineering intern. You kind of have to advocate for yourself and advocate for the program that you graduated from. And yeah, I have no regrets because I get to tell people that I'm a biosystems engineer, and then I get to tell them about it, which is fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Like I said, I didn't really know much about biosystems before I came in, but that actually sounds very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben.
Yep.